Hi class! In this video, we're going to start talking about Chapter 5, Currency Derivatives. In this chapter, we're going to explain how forward contracts are used to hedge based on anticipated exchange rate movements. We're also going to describe how currency futures contracts are used to speculate or hedge based on anticipated exchange rate movements. And lastly, we're going to explain how currency option contracts are used to speculate or hedge based on anticipated exchange rate movements. So we have three different kinds of derivatives in this chapter, including forward, futures, and option. What is a currency derivative? It is a contract whose price is derived from the value of an underlying currency. Examples include forwards, futures, and options contracts. Derivatives are used by multinational corporations to speculate on future exchange rate movements or to hedge exposure to exchange rate risk. Okay, so again, the value of the derivative contract is derived or associated with the underlying currency. And we have forwards, futures, options, three kinds of contract here that were mostly focused in this chapter. And we can either speculate or hedge using these three kinds of contracts. All right, so the first contract is forward contract. It is an agreement between a corporation and a financial institution to exchange a specified amount of currency at a specified exchange rate called the forward rate on a specified date in the future. So if you buy or sell a forward contract today with a financial institution, you would know how much you're going to buy or sell at a future date at a fixed forward rate. Multinational corporations use forward contracts to hedge their imports by locking in the rate at which they can obtain the currency. The bid-ask spread is wider for less liquid currencies. We may negotiate an offsetting trade if an MNC enters into a forward rate or forward sale and a forward purchase with the same bank. Non-deliverable forward contracts can be used for emerging market currencies where no currency delivery takes place at settlement. Instead, one party makes a payment to the other party. Premium or discount on the forward rate. So we have an equation here saying F, the forward rate, equals S, the spot rate, multiplied by 1 plus P. P here is the forward premium, or the percentage by which the forward rate exceeds the spot rate. Okay, so we can use the spot rate multiplied by 1 plus forward premium, so we can get forward rate. Here is an example of how we can compute forward rate premiums or discounts. Say we have a spot rate of $1.681 for each pound, and the 30-day forward rate is $1.68, and the maturity is 30 days later. The forward rate premium or discount would be the forward rate minus the spot rate divided by spot rate. Okay, because we already know that forward rate equals spot rate multiplied by 1 plus forward premium or forward discount. So if we're looking for P here, we can use F divided by S minus 1, which is the same as F minus S divided by S. So I just typed in the alternative equation here. P equals F divided by S minus 1 equals F minus S divided by S. Okay, and this alternative version of this relation between spot rate, forward rate, and forward premium is used in our graph here. Okay, we're using forward rate minus spot rate divided by spot rate to calculate the basic forward premium. And because this is a 30-day forward rate, we want to annualize it. So we divide by 30, multiply by 360. Okay, so we make the forward rate premium annualized, which is negative 0.71% here. So it's a forward rate discount here because it's negative. If it's a 90-day forward rate, again, we use the forward rate 1.677 minus the spot rate 1.681 divided by the spot rate, multiplied by 360 divided by 90. Okay, because this rate is a 90-day rate, so we need to divide by 90 and multiply by 360 so we can annualize it. And we have negative 0.95% as the forward discount. Lastly, we have this 180-day forward rate. Again, we use this forward rate 1.672 minus the spot rate divided by spot rate divided by number of days 180 multiplied by 360. So we have annualized rate negative 1.07% as the forward rate discount. Practice. A forward rate for currency is set to exit discount if we should choose option B. If the forward rate is less than the existing spot rate, then the forward premium would become a forward discount because F is going to be smaller than S. Okay, so F minus S divided by S is going to be a negative number. The 1-year forward rate of the British pound is quoted at $1.6, and the spot rate of the British pound is quoted at $1.62. The forward is, okay, so we need to, well, please pause the video, work on the question on your own, okay? Give yourself a few minutes, try to work on this, and resume the video when you are ready for looking at the answer. Okay, so if you're ready, you could resume the video. Let's go to the next slide. The right answer should be B because we can use forward rate 1.6 divided by spot rate 1.62 minus 1. Okay, so we have negative 1.2%. So this is a forward discount. The 90-day forward rate for the euro is $1.07, while the current spot rate of the euro is $1.06. What is the annualized forward premium or discount of the euro? Again, please pause the video, work on the question yourself. Only resume the video when you are ready. Okay, if you already solved out the answer, you can resume the video and let's go to the next slide. The right option should be C here. Okay, because we can use the forward rate 1.07 divided by spot rate 1.06 minus 1. Okay, so we have the rate for the 90-day forward. Okay, however, we need to annualize it. So we divide by 90 days, multiply by 360. We should get 3.8% as the annualized forward premium. Practice. Assume the spot rate of the Swiss franc is 0.62 and the 1-year forward rate is 0.66. The forward rate exhibits of. Okay, again, work this on your own. Resume the video when you are ready. Okay, if you finished working, we can look at the answer, which is D, because we can use forward rate here as 0.66 minus spot rate as 0.62, divide by spot rate, 0.62, we get 6.45%. Okay, so this is a forward premium. Okay, another question. Assume the spot rate of a currency is 0.37 and the 90-day forward rate is 0.36. The forward rate of this currency exhibits off on an annualized basis. Think about it. Let me know your answer. Okay, if you're ready, the answer should be D. We use forward rate, which is 0.36 minus spot rate, which is 0.37, divide by spot rate, 0.37, divide by 90 days, because this is a 90-day forward, multiply by 360. We should get negative 10.81% as the forward discount. Okay, so these are all questions or practices for calculating forward discount or forward premium. Okay, you use forward rate minus spot rate divided by spot rate. You can also use forward rate divided by spot rate minus 1. You get the same answer. If it's positive sign, it's forward premium. If it's negative sign, it is forward discount. Okay, and our original formula is forward rate equals spot rate multiplied by 1 plus P. Okay, here the spot rate is the current spot rate. Okay, we can also use forward contract to arbitrage. If the forward rate was the same as the spot rate, arbitrage would be possible. Movements in the forward rate over time. The forward premium is influenced by the interest rate differential between the two countries and can change over time. Offsetting a forward contract. An MNC can offset a forward contract by negotiating with the original counterparty bank. Non-deliverable forward contracts, NDF, can be used for emerging market currencies where no currency delivery takes place at settlement. Instead, one party makes a payment to the other party. Practice. This company, Grayland Incorporation, based in Washington, exports products to a German firm and will receive payment of 300,000 euro in 3 months. On June 1st, the spot rate of the euro was $1.12 and the 3-month forward rate was $1.1. On June 1st, Grayland negotiated a forward contract with a bank to sell 200,000 forward in 3 months. The spot rate of the euro on September 1st is $1.15. Greenland will receive how much dollars for the euros? Okay, think about this question. Let me know your answer. Resume the video when you're ready. Okay, if you're ready, the right option should be option B here. Okay, because the company already negotiated a forward contract with the bank. So after 3 months, it has to carry out the forward contract. Okay, it has to sell 200,000 euros it receives to the bank at the forward rate 1.1. Okay, so we use 200 multiplied by 1.1, so we have 330,000 as the dollars the firm should receive. Okay, we cannot use the spot rate after 3 months on September 1st because we already have a forward contract in hand. We have to carry it out. Okay, and we're not using the current spot rate on June 1st either. So out of the three rates here, we use the second one, the forward rate here. Next practice. Your company expects to receive 5 million Japanese yen 60 days from now. You decided to hedge your position by selling Japanese yen forward. The current spot rate of the yen is $0.0089, while the forward rate is $0.0095. You expect the spot rate in 60 days to be $0.009. How many dollars will you receive for the 5 million yen 60 days from now? Think about it. Resume the video when you have finished. Okay, so if you're ready, let's look at the answer, which is D. Okay, this is similar to our last practice. Because you already have or you already decide to hedge your position by selling Japanese yen forward, you have to carry out the forward, okay? Once you receive 5 million, you have to selling this 5 million to the bank at the forward rate 0.0095. Okay, so you use 5 million multiplied by 0.00595, so you have $47,500 you will receive 60 days from now. Okay, you're not gonna use the spot rate after 60 days or the current spot rate. Okay, you're gonna use the forward rate because you're locked in this rate by selling this forward. Practice. This Thornton Corporation needs to invest 5 million Nepalese rupees in its Nepalese subsidiary to support local operations. Thornton would like its subsidiary to repay the rupees in 1 year. Thornton would like to engage in a swap transaction. Thus, Thornton would A. Convert the rupees into dollars in the spot market today and convert rupees to dollars in 1 year at today's forward rate. B. Convert dollars to rupees in the spot market today and convert dollars to rupees in 1 year at the prevailing spot rate. C. Convert the dollars to rupees in the spot market today and convert rupees to dollars in 1 year at today's forward rate. D. Convert the dollars to rupees in the spot market today and convert rupees to dollars in 1 year at the prevailing spot rate. Okay, very long sentences. Think carefully. Let me know which one you would choose. The right answer should be C. Okay, because the company is gonna invest in 5 million Nepalese rupees today. So it needs to convert dollars to rupees in the spot market today so it can pay or invest 5 million. After a year, the company is expected to receive 5 rupees. So it can convert rupees to dollars in 1 year at today's forward rate. Okay, it can purchase a forward today, so it can be locked in a price at which it can convert rupees to dollars after a year. Okay, that's about forward contract. Let's look at futures contract or currency futures market. It is very similar to forward contracts in terms of obligation to purchase or sell currency on a specific settlement date in the future. However, it's different from forward contracts because futures have standard contract specifications, such as standardized number of units per contract, offer greater liquidity than forward contracts, typically based on US dollar, but may be offered on cross rates, and is commonly traded on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, CME. Okay, it's more standardized, so it's more liquid. But both futures and forwards are obligations to buy or sell a currency at a specific date, at a specific rate. Currency futures contract traded on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. Okay, here is a standardized contract for each currency, and we have standardized units per contract. Trading currency futures. Firms or individuals can execute orders for currency futures contracts by calling brokerage firms. Electronic trading platforms facilitate the trading of currency futures. These platforms serve as a broker as they execute the trades desired. Currency futures contracts are similar to forward contracts in that they allow a customer to lock in the exchange rate at which a specific currency is purchased or sold for a specific date in the future. Comparison of the forward and futures market. For size of the contract, forward is tailored to individual needs, while futures has a standardized size of contract. Delivery dates for forward contracts could be tailored to individual needs, but for futures, it is standardized. Participants for forward contracts are banks, brokers, and multinational companies. Public speculation is not encouraged. But for futures, besides banks, brokers, and multinational companies, qualified public speculation is encouraged. Security deposit. Forward does not need security deposit as such, but compensating bank balances or lines of credit is required. For futures, a small security deposit is required. For forward, the clearing operation is handling contingent on individual banks and brokers. No separate clearing house function. For futures, it's handled by exchange clearing house daily settlements to the market price. For forward, there's telecommunication network, and for futures, there's central exchange floor with worldwide communications. For forward, it is self-regulating, most settled by actual delivery, some by offsets at a cost, and it's set by spread between banks' buy and sell prices as the transaction costs. For futures, the Commodity Futures Trading Commission and National Futures Association regulate it. It's most by offset, very few by delivery, and there's negotiated brokerage fees. Practice. Forward contracts contain A. A commitment to the owner and are standardized. B. A commitment to the owner and can be tailored to the owner's desire. C. A right but not a commitment to the owner and can be tailored to the owner's desire. D. A right but not a commitment to the owner and are standardized. Which one should we go for? Yes, we should go for B, okay? A applies to futures contract instead, which is standardized. Okay, for forward contracts, can be tailored to the owner's desire. And both futures and forwards are commitment to the owner, okay? We will talk about options soon. That's gonna be a right, not a commitment to the owner. Currency futures contracts sold on an exchange contain, okay, this time we should choose A. Okay, it is a commitment and it is standardized. When the futures price is above the forward rate, astute investors may attempt to simultaneously buy a currency forward and sell futures in that currency. These actions would place what pressure on the forward rate and what pressure on the futures rate. Think about it. Which one? Yes, we should choose A here, okay? If the futures rate is higher than the forward rate, we should always buy low and sell high to arbitrage. Okay, we can buy the lower priced forward and sell the higher priced futures so that the forward rate is going to go up. There will be an upward pressure on the lower priced forward rate and a downward pressure on the higher priced futures rate. If the spot rate of the euro increased substantially over a 1 month period, the futures price on euros would likely over the same period. Think about which one we should go for. We should go for C, okay? The futures price or the forwards price, they are both very related to the spot rate. If spot rate goes up, they should go up too. Trading currency futures. Pricing currency futures. The price of a currency futures will be similar to the forward rate, and they're both associated with the spot rate. Credit risk of currency futures contracts. To minimize its risk, the CME imposes margin requirements to cover fluctuations in the value of a contract, meaning that the participants must make a deposit with their respective brokerage firms when they take a position. How firms use currency futures. They could purchase futures to hedge payables. The purchase of futures contract locks in the price at which the firm can purchase a currency so that they can pay the payables. Selling futures to hedge receivables. The sale of futures contract locks in the price at which the firm can sell a currency. Okay, so they could sell the currency it receives. Closing out a futures option or position. Sellers or buyers of currency futures can close out their positions by buying or selling identical futures contracts prior to settlement. Most currency futures contracts are closed out before the settlement date. For example, on this graph, someone can buy the futures contract on January 10th, okay, and the rate could be $0.53 per Australian dollar, okay, and if the person buys 100,000 Australian dollar, it has to pay 53,000 at the settlement date according to the contract. If this is the rate and units defined on the contract. On February 15th, before the settlement date, March 19th, the owner of the contract could sell a similar or opposite contract. Okay, So on February 15th, the same person can sell at the rate of $0.5 per Australian dollar for 100,000 unit of Australian dollars. Okay, so the settlement date, on the settlement date, the same person is gonna have to sell and receive $50,000. Okay, so on the settlement date, the two futures contracts have to be carried out at the same time. And for the contract one, it's gonna cost the owner of the futures contract $53,000 to buy the Australian dollars of 100,000 units. However, it can sell this currency according to the contract two, and it's gonna receive 50,000. So there's 3,000 loss. Speculation with currency futures. Currency futures contracts are sometimes purchased by speculators, attempting to capitalize on their expectation of a currency's future movement. Currency futures are often sold by speculators who expect that the spot rate of a currency will be less than the rate at which they would be obligated to sell it. Source of gains from buying currency futures. So in this example here, on April 4th, someone can have the futures contract to sell at the rate of $0.09 per peso and for 500,000 pesos. So it could sell and receive $55,000 at the settlement date. And then before the settlement date, it can buy pesos at spot rate. If the spot rate is 0.08 per peso, and if the person bought 500,000 peso, it should pay 50,000. And then it's going to carry out the futures contract and sell the pesos for 54,000 to fulfill futures contracts. Currency futures market efficiency. If the currency futures market is efficient, the futures price would reflect all available information. Thus, the continual use of a particular strategy to take positions in currency futures contract should not lead to abnormal profits. Research has found that the currency futures market may be inefficient, however, the patterns are not necessarily observable until after they occur, which means that it may be difficult to consistently generate abnormal profits from speculating in futures practice. Which of the following would result in a profit on a euro futures contract if the euro depreciates? Okay, please read through the four options. Let me know which one you want to go for. Okay, we should go for option B. Okay, if we sell a euro futures contract now when the euro is at a high price, so we sell at a higher price. And then if we buy a futures contract after euro has depreciated, we could buy back the euros at a lower price. And this way we can make profit. Okay, we always buy low, sell high. A speculator in futures contract who expects the value of a foreign currency to depreciate would likely sell futures contracts. Is it true? Yes, it's true. Okay, it want to be locked in a futures price, a higher price, according to the futures contract. So when the spot rate depreciates, it can buy at a lower rate and then sell the futures contract. Assume that British pound futures price for September is $1.6. Given that 62,500 units are in a British pound futures contract, the seller of British pound futures will receive how much on the delivery date? This should be a simple question, okay? Calculate the answer, let me know. If you're ready, the right answer should be the second one. Okay, we just use the futures price 1.6 multiplied by the number of units, 62,500. So we have 100,000 that we're going to receive on the delivery date because we're locked in this selling price. Currency futures can be used by MNCs to hedge payables. That is, an MNC would futures to hedge a foreign payable position. Also, currency futures can be used for speculation. For example, a speculator expecting a currency to appreciate would futures. Which one? If you're ready, we should buy futures in both cases. Okay, if we want to hedge payables, we want to be locked in a buying price. Okay, so after some time we can buy the currency at a fixed rate according to the futures contract, so we can pay the payables. In the second case, we expect the currency to appreciate, so we want to still be locked in a lower futures price so that we can sell at the higher future spot rate to make profit. Currency options markets. Currency option provides the right to purchase or sell currencies at specified prices. So here, different from futures or forwards, options provide us the right to purchase or sell. Okay, you could choose not to purchase or sell, but you have the right to carry out your contract, but you don't necessarily need to. Options exchanges. 1982, exchanges in Amsterdam, Montreal, and Philadelphia first allowed trading in standardized foreign currency options. In 2007, CME and CBOT merged to form CME Group. Exchanges are regulated by the SEC in the US. Over-the-counter market, where currency options are offered by commercial banks and brokerage firms. Unlike the currency options traded on an exchange, the over-the-counter market offers currency options that are tailored to the specific needs of the firm. Currency options sold through an options exchange contain. Which one should we go for? Yes, D, a right but not a commitment to the owner, and are standardized. Which of the following is true? C, the buyer decides if the option will be exercised. Okay, because the buyer has the right to decide if it wants to be exercising the option. It's not the writer who decides, and it's not the writer who pays the option premium. It is actually the buyer who pays the option premium to purchase the right to buy or sell. If you have bought the right to sell, you are a put buyer. Okay, so option includes call and put. If you buy the right to buy, it's a call. If you buy the right to sell, it's a put. If you have bought a right to buy foreign currency, you are a call buyer. Okay, call options grants the right to buy a specific currency at a designated strike price or excess price within a specific period of time. If the spot rate rises above the strike price, the owner of a call option can exercise the right to buy a currency at the strike price. The buyer of the option pays a premium. If the spot exchange rate is greater than the strike price, the option is in the money. If the spot rate is equal to the strike price, the option is at the money. If the spot rate is lower than strike price, the option is out of money. Okay, so if you're buying a call option, you have the right to buy a currency at this strike price or exercise price. Okay, because you pay this call premium, so you have the right to decide whether you want to buy or whether you want to buy the currency at this fixed rate. Okay, so if the spot rate is above the strike price, you would exercise it because you could buy the currency at the strike price and then sell it at the higher spot rate to make profit. Okay, and you're in the money this way. Otherwise, at the margin, you will be at the money. And if you cannot make the profits, you are out of the money, you probably wouldn't exercise the call. So your loss is just the premium. Okay. If it's in the money, you would exercise the price. And if the profit is higher than the premium, then you are making a real net income or net profit. Factors affecting currency call option premiums. The premium on the call option C is affected by 3 factors. Spot price relative to the strike price, which is S spot price minus X strike price. The higher the spot rate relative to the strike price, the higher the option price will be. Okay, if S is higher than X, we know that it's very likely that we'll be in the money making a profit. So the call option premium C is going to be higher if this difference between spot and strike is high. Length of the time before expiration, T, can also affect premium positively. The longer the time to expiration, the higher the option price will be. Okay, because the longer the time to expiration, there is a higher chance that your spot rate could rise even higher compared to the strike price. So there's a possibility that you could make more profit. So you have a higher premium. Potential variability of currency. The sigma, which usually stands for standard deviation, okay, stands for variability here or volatility here. The greater the variability of the currency, the higher the probability that the spot price can rise above the strike price. So we have a higher premium this way. Okay, no matter we have a higher possibility of variation or length of time before expiration, or a higher gap between strike and spot, we would have a higher call premium to purchase the right to buy the currency at the strike price X. Firms can use call options to hedge payables, hedge project bidding to lock in the dollar cost of potential expenses, hedge target bidding of a possible acquisition, speculate on expectations of future movements in the currency. The other kinds of option is called put option. It grants the right to sell. Okay, instead of buying, it gives the buyer, the put buyer, the right to sell a currency at a specific strike price or exercise price within a specified period of time. If the spot rate falls below the strike price, the owner of a put can exercise the right to sell currency at the strike price. Okay, we wish the spot price or spot rate would be lower than strike price, so we can buy at the lower spot rate and sell at the higher strike price, so we can exercise the put to make profit. And the buyer of the options pays a premium, the put premium. If the spot exchange rate is lower than the strike price, the option is in the money, meaning you could make profit if you exercise the put.
If the spot rate is equal to the strike price, it's at the margin, the option is at the money. If the spot rate is greater than strike price, the option is out of the money. Okay, you wouldn't want to exercise it because you are gonna lose more than the premium if you're out of the money. Also, three factors. The same three factors, S minus XT sigma, would affect our put premium, P, but the lower the spot rate relative to the strike price, the higher the probability that option will be exercised. Okay, so we have a negative relation between the S minus X and P. For T and sigma, they still have a positive relation with P. Corporations with open positions in foreign currencies can use currency put options in some cases to cover these options or positions. Some put options are deep out of the money, meaning that the prevailing exchange rate is high above the exercise price. These options are cheaper, have a lower premium, as they're unlikely to be exercised because their exercise price is too low. Other put options have an exercise price that's currently above the prevailing exchange rate and are therefore more likely to be exercised. Consequently, these options are more expensive. Okay, so this is telling us if S is very much above X, the premium is going to be low. Okay, but if it's S is very much lower than X, then the premium is going to be high. Individuals may speculate with currency put options based on their expectations of the future movements in a particular currency. Speculators can attempt to profit from selling currency put options. The seller of such options is obligated to purchase the specific currency at a strike price from the owner who exercised the put option. The net profit to a speculator is based on the exercise price at which the currency can be sold versus the purchase price of the currency and the premium paid for the put option. Okay, so this shows us for different situations, future spot rate comparing to the exercise price of a call option. So we can see the net profit per unit for the call option in different cases, as well as for put option, and also not only the buyers of call or put option, but also sellers of call and put option are shown on the graph. Okay, so let's look at them one by one. For contingency graph for purchasers or buyers of British pound call option, if the call option gives an exercise price of $1.5 and requires a premium of $0.02, then if the future spot rate rises above 1.5, we will exercise the price and make a profit from the exercise. But if the future spot rate is lower than 1.5, we're not going to exercise the call option. Okay. And in this case, we will lose the premium. Okay. Premium is going to be our loss, which is negative 0.02 is going to be our loss. Okay. But once the spot rate rises above 1.5, we will exercise. Okay. But before it arrives at 1.52, even after we exercise the call option, the profit we make is not going to be enough to compensate all the premium we paid. So we're still at loss, and our loss is between negative 0.02 to 0. Okay, only when the spot rate rises above 1.52, we are truly making a net profit, okay, because we're making a profit higher than 0.02, higher than the premium. So we have additional net profit. For the sellers of the call option, they make 0.02. They benefit. They make this net profit of this premium amount 0.02. if the future spot rate is below 1.5 because the buyer wouldn't exercise it. And if the spot rate goes up to 1.52, okay, the seller is still gonna make positive net profits, but it's gonna be between 0 to 0.02. And if the future spot rate rises above 1.52, the buyer is gonna make a positive net profit and the seller is gonna lose money. For put option, for buyer, if the premium is 0.03 and the exercise price is 1.5, the buyer wouldn't exercise the option or put option if the spot rate is higher than 1.5. Okay, you don't want to buy at a higher price than 1.5 and then sell at this exercise price 1.5. So your loss would be only 0.03, the premium. Okay, if the spot rate S is higher than X. However, if S, the spot rate, goes down below 1.5, you would exercise. Okay, so you can sell still at this 1.5, but you can purchase at a lower rate. So you can make profits, but if the spot rate is still above 1.47, your net profit is still going to be negative. You still lose some money because the profit you make cannot offset all the premium you paid. Okay, unless the spot rate goes down below 1.47, you are truly making some net profit. Okay, and in this situation, the seller of the put option is going to lose money. Okay, and when you are making and when you are losing money, the seller of the put option is going to make money. Okay. All right, that's our introduction to our chapter 5. We're going to discuss more practice problems on options and derivatives in general in the next video.